A heartfelt welcome to today's episode of Humanities Dialogue, presented by DEIPeople.com. We're so excited to have you join us for this dialogue. Hosted by Quincy and Daniella, DEI leader, activist, and disruptor, and Daniella Fairbairn, author of Insanely Great Customer Service and the host of Being Insanely Great podcast. Let's have a real humanities dialogue together. Now, beloveds, let's dive into today's episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our visual podcast, Humanity Dialogues, presented by DEIPeople.com, hashtag DEIPeople, on Instagram at officialdeipeople.com. I'm your host, or one of your hosts, Quincy and Daniella. I am a cisgender male. I'm also a husband. I'm also a friend, an entrepreneur, and a DEI leader. Joining me is my wonderful and most fabulous co-host,
Daniella Fairbairn. I am a wife, I am an advocate, I am a leader, and I am the author of Be Insanely Great Customer Service. And I am creating a world filled with culturally competent leaders who are able to navigate the workplace with empathy, authenticity, and vulnerability. Thank you, Quincy.
Hey,
Good to join you.
How are you?
Fabulous. And you?
Good.
Good.
So today we're going to be talking about, I know this is a topic that Daniella holds very close to her
love
heart.
it.
It's redefining excellence beyond white norms. And it's really to address the concept of Black excellence in the space of America, the United States of America to be exact, in which we tie race to excellence only when it's a non-white person, whether it be Hispanic excellence or Asian excellence or, any excellence tied to one's race. And when it comes to white people or white citizens or white brothers and sisters, it's just excellence. They just did really well. Meryl Streep is a wonderful actress. But it becomes Black excellence when it's Viola Davis.
And being known as a Black Meryl Streep.
Which is even more offensive, right? To even be tied like that. And so we're going to talk a little about that on just the concept of excellence. And so I know you're a customer service guru.
Yes.
Give me an example of excellence that you have experienced in your life. What is the best just place or experience when it comes to amazing excellence in customer service? And this is more than likely going to be a plug for somebody's organization, somebody's hotel or something.
There have been so many experiences, I have to say, Quincy, over time. When I think of customer service and it being excellent, I think it is actually knowing someone's needs and wants before they do. That to me is essentially what it is, right?
Yeah.
When I think of customer service and who sets the bar, I think of hotels. That comes to mind right away, right?
Yeah.
And so you're paying for convenience, you're paying for a place to stay for how length of time, and you're expecting that the room be presented in a certain way. You're expected to be greeted in a certain way.
Higher than some.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But your expectations are there.
Yeah.
I am looking for excellent customer service wherever I go and patronize. Especially,
I know this. I have
Yes.
experienced this.
So I want to understand why good morning isn't something that you may want to say to me, right? Why is it that you seem to have an attitude, right? Why is it that you're not looking to make small talk with me? Because I have other options, right?
Yeah.
So why are you given the opportunity to go elsewhere?
Yeah.
I do think that excellence is a certain standard. I think it is raising the bar. And if I experience it someplace at a certain level, I'm experiencing it throughout. So there's some places I would just not go to again because of that, right?
Yeah.
I think of poor, substandard experiences quicker than I do think of excellent experiences.
That's a
right?
human. That's a human experience,
right?
Yeah.
So I go to a restaurant and I will love the restaurant and I will tell 10 people. But if I had the worst experience, Quincy, I'm calling you, your mother, your cousin, everybody, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just that it's human nature, right? It wasn't the best thing.
It's a 5-to-1. Somebody said
Right.
it's a 5-to-1 ratio if you have a bad experience.
Right.
Because it's tied towards the concept within you about harm.
Right.
So if you're thinking this food was terrible, for example,
Yes.
it's tied towards the instinct of harm compared to if the food was good and you had a smile and I felt amazing. It's good.
Right.
But you're not willing to, tell anybody a lot about it
Right.
unless it's excellent.
Exactly. So I will tell you about an experience I had. There is a shoe boutique in Brooklyn that provides excellent customer service. So I am a certain
Shout
build.
them out. Who are they?
I'm a certain build. Okay. I'm a certain height. Okay.
Danielle is 7 feet tall. I'm just
So,
kidding. She's really tall.
and so my legs are smaller. They're slim, right? I have a lean body type.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking for boots that fit a certain way. And I like over the knee high boots just because I like the look.
Yeah, okay.
Do I need it? No, because it elongates my legs, but I just love it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a pair of boots. I go to this boutique.
Yeah.
And the owner of the boutique is working there on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And he is just like, okay, let me know if you need something. So he wasn't hounding me.
Yeah.
And he pulls out the pair. I let him know what I like to see. He's like, you know what? I'll pull this up, but I actually have something that is right up your alley. Okay. He let me know what it was. He brought it out. I ended up buying 3 pairs of boots.
Who's
And
this
I only
boutique?
needed one.
You know the name of this boutique?
And I only needed one.
No.
But it's not a sponsor, so I have to just, so. But all that to say,
Shout out to the Brooklyn Boots Company.
okay,
Wherever you are.
Yes.
Where is it, in Flatbush?
it is actually downtown Brooklyn.
Downtown
It is,
Brooklyn.
yes, downtown Brooklyn.
African American owned?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yes.
Shout out
yes.
to you,
Yes,
whoever you are.
yes. And he also did let me know if I ever have any issue with the boots, I can always come back. He'll have his guy at cost do the repairs. And so that also made me feel good about myself.
yes.
But I think overall it is making you feel as if you are the only one. And that's
That
part
is
of it too.
excellence.
That's
right?
excellence, right.
When you're thinking about just the concept of excellence, it's feeling you are the only
Yes.
within a world
Right.
of 7
Right.
point something billion
Yes,
people.
of course.
You're in the audience, and the audience melts away, and the dancers, and you have a connection.
Of course.
You go to the concert, and Taylor Swift is pointing at, she can't see nobody.
Right. But she's pointing
But
at
she
you.
pointed at you, and she's looking at you, and you're feeling,
Right.
we got a connection, right? That's the excellence. You've gone to the restaurant,
Yes.
you've gone to the hotel, all of the service. I think my best experience was a hotel in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Can't say them, but but it is a luxury hotel. The minute we got out the car, the person was just passing on his
Yes.
little boogie.
Yes.
How can I help? I say,
Yeah.
you're new. You're getting your bags. Let me get somebody. Said something on the little thing in
Yes.
his ear.
Right.
Before I knew it, 5 minutes later, there was a little trolley coming to get the bags. I was like, I'm impressed.
yes.
Right?
You're right.
It's about feeling,
Yeah.
right? When you're talking about excellence,
Yes.
it's about making sure that the person, the audience, whoever is taking your services, partaking in your business, a member of your organization, feels that way.
Yes.
The question is, how does that become Black excellence or Hispanic excellence or whatever else we add to it? And that's what irks me.
I think it's so important to highlight, though, right, Quincy?
Yeah.
Because a lot.
And why?
I think a lot of people equate whiteness with excellence. And so when it's not white, it's not excellent. And so you're saying, no, this is Black excellence,
Yeah.
right? This is Latin excellence. This is, right, Asian excellence. You're highlighting that because it's important to put us at the forefront.
But don't you think you're buying into that mental concept of you will never say to Meryl Streep,
Correct.
white excellence, amazing Meryl, thank
Yes,
you.
you're right.
I don't know why we call her this poor lady.
Yes.
But she's won a lot of awards.
Yes.
I think that's why she's being,
Yes.
but we then, for
Right.
Viola, we are seeing Black excellence. For Felicia, we are seeing Black excellence.
Yes.
For Alvin Haley, it's Black excellence.
Why not just right?
Why not just
I
excellence?
totally get your perspective. I do.
Yeah.
I do. But I also think it's important for it to resonate because for far too long, we have not been glorified in our accomplishments. And so it's saying to your sister, to your brother, hey, I see you. You're Black excellence. Don't care what anyone else has to say. That is what you embody.
Do you think it is fair to have our white citizens, brothers and sisters, say this is Black excellence? Or only
Quincy,
from our brother?
You have to throw a wrench in this.
Of course. It is called Humanity Dialogue for a reason.
Correct.
You know, like where does
I would not appreciate it if it were from someone other than a Black person.
And please don't come for me. Okay. I understand why BET exists.
Yes.
I understand why those awards exist.
Right.
Right? But as we celebrate, I want us to be cognizant that we are intentionally participating in a white supremacist concept of excellence. As basic as it is, excellence is, as we defined earlier, you feeling as you are connected to that, whether it be the acting, the wine, the whatever. It is for me, and this is my personal opinion, not the opinion of DI people, but my personal opinion about going up to Oprah and saying, this is Black excellence.
I think Oprah is an exception to the rule. I have to say Quincy.
You know.
I think we should think about someone else. Just because Oprah is in a category all
Michelle
on herself.
Obama.
You're making this so hard, Quincy.
Yeah. But and again, it is where where we tend to, as a society, as a group of people, decide Michelle Obama now is an exception. She's special. She's outside of the concepts. Oprah also falls into that category.
And they're both Black women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you will never say Black excellence to them.
Because there's no need.
There's just excellence.
No, right. There's excellence.
Right? And I think we must have this conversation about the only reason why Oprah and Michelle, and we're talking first name basis, I know the people, right? Is because they have so surpassed the normal.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
There is nobody on earth touching Oprah.
Not
and
at
there's
all.
surely nobody on earth touching
Michelle.
Right? Because they have demonstrated and stood in their being, in the natural way of being. That now we're like, they're the exception. They're just human beings that are amazing at what they do.
Yes.
Right? Nobody is running down the other people that are within those sectors, the other first ladies, because all the others are white, and saying the same. She is a lawyer and an author, a philanthropist, producer.
Yes.
Right? Of making sure she's honest in every platform that she is. She's also a mother, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Now, that's why, for me, you know, looking in on these concepts of Black excellence and Hispanic excellence and so on, now we do ourselves an injustice, personal opinion here, about working within a framework of Americana. This is somebody that is excellent. There is nobody that could come and say to Felicia, hey, the work that you have done is not excellent. Now, within our community, and you having a Black conversation among Black African Americans, yes, maybe you may want to tie it along. You know, that comes along with this whole thing about black girl magic. Oh, that irks me also.
But I love it.
We'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned. There's so much more to come here on Humanities Dialogue. Beloveds, welcome back to Humanities Dialogue. Now back to the show.
You know, girls here. This is full-grown women. The fact that you're saying black girl, I'm like, you're already making yourself smaller.
But I look at it as a term of endearment. So when I'm talking to a woman who is of a certain age, girl, right? That's just how we greet each other. So it's not about making you seem as if you're not a woman. It's not in any way making you seem lesser than. It's just that's just how we speak to each other, right? So if we look at everything at face value, this is not the situation. This is how we are able to communicate with each other. And I think that in itself should be glorified, right? In that
And celebrated.
and celebrated. Yeah. Yeah.
It is, I think words are very powerful. And when we are trying to communicate in this instance excellence, or just that X factor that a lot of people will have, you're like, that's black girl magic, meaning we were able to network, we were able to work with what we had and we've achieved.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I understand that. But the labeling of it as like a girl just pushes my buttons. And then the, because I've done well in a specific thing, it now becomes black excellence. When you will not say that to my white counterparts in the same, you would just say, you're amazing, you're excellent at this.
But do you not think, Quincy, that because for so long being black or anything associated with blackness was seen as a negative, that there is importance and there is strength in acknowledging that you're seen for who you are and what you've done. And so I'm saying to you that this is black excellence.
Yes. So the history of it is you're trying to intentionally speak to blackness.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
I agree with that part.
Okay.
When you're tying it, you are also saddling yourself with the centering of whiteness by making it.
Okay.
Now,
fair enough.
If you want to get past, right? Because now what I'm seeing is people just tying themselves to blackness and saying, if somebody was to even indicate to them, hey, you're mixed with what? No, I'm African American. And you're looking at the person quite clearly. No, you couldn't be fully one, It's quite clear you're not, based on your features, based on just your melanin in your skin. Like we're not seeing it. They must be. And then you look at their parents, or you're seeing an Asian mom. You're like, okay, what is the advantage, or why are you just assimilating with one part? And what are the advantages of? And that's where I think, because we've bought into the social structure of white and black, black being less and white being more, that's why we can, and somebody who is excelling at something will say, I am black, right? I want that person to understand when they're talking about black excellence, they are buying into, I am excellent.
Regardless of my background.
I don't care.
Right.
You could call me whatever.
Yes.
I am amazing at this.
Yes.
I am beyond average. I am excellence. Because if you don't be so, I know sometimes we tend to get a little caught up when, celebrities and other people are, changing their bodies or code switching to get certain things, right? To, either get an audience or get sponsorship or whatever. We tend to negate the fact that in order to think and behave like that, you are looking at white supremacy and partaking in it. And I know they came for poor Raven. You remember Raven and Oprah?
Yes, yes.
I'm like, how could Raven, in all honesty, in her being, negate the white parent? Like, why? Why should she? Just to say, I am a part of the Black community. No, that's not fear. That's a mother. She didn't choose to how she fell in love and what her child would be. And a lot of people that are of mixed races, they have to choose. And I'm saying, when you look at the Mariah, you don't have to. You don't have to part, especially in 2024. Maybe in the past, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, yes. You had to because, the times weren't. We are much more equal with opportunities now, especially for these people who have overcome a lot of social barriers to get to where they are. They understand. They do not intentionally have to participate. They have to speak out and say, yes, Mariah Carey's mom is white. She's white as they come.
It's funny you say that. I was looking at a clip, a reel, recently, and it was of the show Mixed-ish.
I remember, yeah.
Yes, and there was an episode where the daughter was saying, I'm biracial. And so she's talking to her Black schoolmate.
Yeah.
And they were showing what the schoolmate is hearing. So although she says, well, I'm biracial, I'm not Black, I'm not white, I'm biracial. I'm both, right?
Yeah.
And so the Black schoolmate is hearing, I'm better than you. Like they
Yeah.
That's what she's hearing.
Yeah.
And so the daughter also speaks to her aunt later on that day. And she's like, well, I don't know why they're forcing me to choose because I'm biracial.
Yeah.
And the same thing. And they show the aunt hearing, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Right? That's what she's hearing. So people but Quincy, I think it's something that goes beyond a simple black and white. It goes through years and the experiences, right? So
Yeah.
if you're talking to a Black person who has experienced life differently than a white person, and you're saying, well, I'm not Black, I'm not white, I'm biracial, it's as if you're choosing the other,
Yeah.
And so it's on someone's experience. Yeah.
I think a perfect example of this is the Democratic nominee,
Yes.
Kamala
Perfect
Harris,
example. Yes.
right? In excellence as excellence could be,
Can go any.
right? She has been top dog in everything.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Through and through.
We're having a conversation about if she's Black or not. And the only reason
Yes.
we're having this conversation
is because
is because we're thinking it's a binary experience
Right.
of either Black or white. And in order to participate in that, she herself now has to say, I am African American. When in truth, she is biracial. She is East Indian descent and a Jamaican descent.
Yes.
Right? But because she has to check a box to assimilate into this whole concept of either Black or white, you had the opponent, talking about if she is white enough. You have Black stars talking about if she is Black or white and all kinds of nonsense, which ties into, and I keep saying this over and over,
Yes.
it ties into the concept with the foundation,
Yes.
where it's this binary, either you're Black or you're white.
Right.
And a lot of people, if you look externally white enough, and I came to America and found this out. I did not know, and I'm going to sound like an idiot. This is 20 years ago.
Okay.
Audience, spare me.
Okay.
I thought all white people were blonde.
Interesting.
I didn't know it was a whole
Brunette
heap of
and-
dyeing.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know Clairol was making money on this dyeing. And until somebody told me many, many years ago, I was like, what? All the white women I see in the office here, all of them are blonde. She's all of them not blonde. It's a lot of box blonde
Yes.
here. I'm like, box blonde? What do you mean?
Right.
She's like Clairol 714. And she was called. I was like, no.
Right. Right.
That's what we're buying into. Why can't white women in America, if you're blonde, you're blonde. If you're brunette, you're brunette. If you're redhead, you're redhead. But because there's the privileges tied towards being white and blonde.
But then you could flip it. You can, on the flip side, you can say, why is it that some Black women are blonde too? Wouldn't you?
yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
it adds, but it's not, to me, I don't tie it with privilege. I tie it as there's some colors that look better on others.
Yeah.
And so, right?
You think blonde will work for you?
I did have blonde. I
Oh,
never showed you a
you gotta
picture.
show me those
Yes,
photos. You gotta show me those.
I had a similar
Yeah.
cut to this, and I dyed my hair blonde.
I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody doing
Right,
things like
right.
that for themselves, right? But there is a concept that I've learned
Mm-hmm.
that in the white culture,
Mm-hmm.
being blonde and blue eyes, there's a superiority there.
Yes.
And so I don't know if my blonde brothers and sisters are dyeing their hair for that reason or not. I don't know. I just knew it was a reality check for me
Yes.
when I thought, you know, because I'm coming to America. This is the first set of white people I'm seeing and interacting with on a daily basis.
Right.
And they were all blonde. I just thought that they were all blonde. And I really don't know if they made a choice tangibly to be white and blonde.
Right.
Or if they're just aesthetically thinks it looks better on
Right.
them.
Right.
You know.
Right.
They're concepts that people are participating in and intentionally sending a message that there is a division in excellence. And I think the time has come where we must start to move past that and call that out. I do not think Viola Davis should ever say, I am the black Meryl Streep. Like what?
I believe the reason that she said that is because for her, there is a pay inequity,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so she has done as many movies as she's been formally trained. And so why is it that Meryl Streep has gotten so many accolades and what she's offered for a movie is drastically different than Viola?
Yes.
So why?
Yes,
why?
that is
so
true.
that's why the comparison.
Yeah, that's why.
Right. Yes.
But I think when you think about others having, when she
Right.
said that, I understood what she was saying.
But some people,
But when people are talking about her, they're saying
she's like a black Meryl Streep, right?
she's
right.
the black Meryl Streep. Like
right.
if Meryl Streep is a standard.
Right, right, and it's not.
No,
It's
this
not.
is acting.
Right, right.
Like
This
what?
is creative, right?
This is
right.
this is coming from the divine.
Right.
Like you get to act. You don't get to the black nothing or the white nothing. It's either you're good or you're not.
And it's interesting that you said
Yeah.
that because you would never. It's not flipped. Like I would never say that
You're the white-
Taylor
you're-
Swift is a white Beyonce.
Oh,
Do you see what I'm saying?
Please do not
'Cause
come
they will
for
come
us.
for
We do
me.
not-
They'll
we do
come for
not
me,
say that.
right.
Okay, look into the camera
Right?
and say that, okay?
Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Right. But that's
Yeah.
the thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's not flipped.
Yeah, it's
Right.
never flipped.
No,
because,
it's not
and
flipped.
again, that's what I'm saying. It's because it is centered.
Around whiteness.
The concept of white excellence does not exist because this concept is excellence is already white.
Yeah.
It's already is.
Right, right,
The
right.
isness.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Toni Morrison said it the best when she pulled that she really called that woman out.
Yes,
The,
yes.
she said, you would never ask a white writer why they are writing about white characters.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
It's like the excellence. Yes. In our community at our table, yes. Add it to the BET Awards, yes. You know, talk about it. But when you get into the world, yeah, you are excellent, Viola. You are excellent, Beyonce. You are excellent, Oprah. You're not black, nothing there.
Right.
No, I am not accepting it because it plays into this concept that excellence is tied to whiteness. It is center. When the excellence is center, regardless of your humanity, regardless of your skin color, you're just superior in doing this specific thing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
call to action.
We'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned. There's so much more to come here on Humanities Dialogue. Don't forget to visit DEIPeople.com and follow us on Instagram at DEIPeopleOfficial for more insights and updates. See you in a moment, beloveds. Beloveds, thank you for supporting the brands and initiatives that make Humanities Dialogue possible. Now back to the show.
So you have said that we need to move beyond, right? So how do we move beyond this, Quincy? I see the value in Black excellence. I do.
Yeah.
I see the value in celebrating each other. I see the value in Black girl magic. I do.
Woo!
So but I get it. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's feeding into this concept of whiteness and that being excellence. I'm just not. I would imagine that if we lived in a world where Black men, Black women were celebrated as their white counterparts, there would be no need for it. But because that has not happened,
Yeah.
that's why there's a need. Do you see what I'm saying?
I completely agree with you that the fact that it exists is because to be a
Yes.
counter narrative,
Right.
right?
Right.
But I think at this point in time, after all we've gone through within the last maybe 10 to 15 years, there is a conversation that needs to be had about why we're even celebrating ourselves in that way. And for me, again, as somebody, an immigrant coming into America and seeing it, I understood immediately what Black excellence meant. I understood immediately what Black girl magic meant. But there is a time where that needs to be dismantled, and it may not be right now, right? Because the African American experience is still an oppressive experience. But we need to have a conversation about the future and how to now dismantle, because it is a step in the right direction, but it's not the end. It was just the first steps of really saying we are not celebrated enough. We have been systematically deprived of being able to acknowledge our excellence because of the social structures within our country, whether it be acting, right? For a long time, you had no Black people on television, right? People who were being awarded were only doing characters of maids or things like that, right? So I understand that.
Right.
And so in order to counter-narrative that, we introduced Black excellence and we celebrated it.
Yes.
It is the time has come, as RuPaul would say, to lip sync for your life. To start to really ask yourself, okay, we've done this for a couple of years. What are we going to do next? Because we know we're good. There's nobody denying
Yes.
that we're good, because we stood up, we said it, we celebrated this concept of Black excellence. But now we're saddled with it. And so how can we get that off of our beings and start to look towards the future in which I'm just seen as a human. I'm just seeing that this is excellent work I'm doing. Not that I'm the Black artist, but I'm the artist that because we don't say Van Gogh is the white artist, but we do that for all of our Black artists, And so for me, it's really having that difficult conversation about how can we dismantle that and start to become one in the realm of excellence. And if, when we're coming together as one, there are structures that are preventing everybody equal opportunity, let's talk about that. If we're realizing, hey, Beyonce can't go into country music, right? I know.
You see my face, huh? You see my face.
The conversation shouldn't really be about
Right.
Black excellence. It should be, okay, you have systematically decided that a Black person cannot sing, wind over the chords, sounds through the mouth.
Right.
It's not country music, right?
And clearly it is.
Because a sound is a sound. There's no Black
Nothing
sounds.
to do with the.
Especially for the artists and especially for the muscles that are doing it, right? You're not saying, well, Adele, you're so white. But you're deciding that this woman could not partake. And that's the conversation. She's excellence.
Period.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But when you're saying these are structures that are preventing this person from, and you know it, we're calling you out here because the music was good. Right? It's not like
everyone line dancing. It was just a thing.
It's not that the lady put out some bad product. She did good work.
Yes. Yes.
And you're like, no, this cannot be because she's Black. That's a conversation to have. And so as we emerge, it's not about now let's go create our own Black awards for country music. No. You establish this is the award. And so if this is the award, let's all partake. And if there's structural things within,
Let's
if
have
you're
that
realizing the
conversation.
voting is off, if you're realizing, you know, the Grammys are not doing this or the Golden Globes are not doing, these are awards that we have given mental accolades to, right? To say you are superior, you're excellent, then dismantle it. Start to chip away at it. Start to ask yourself, why are we doing this? And maybe it did serve us in the past, but now it is quite clear this music is good. It's popular. It was played on the radio. It made a lot of money. It fit all the boxes, but it cannot make it because she's Black. That's where the conversation should lie.
So my question to you then, Quincy, is in order for us to progress in that way and move beyond Black
Yeah.
excellence and just be excellence, does that then mean we should no longer celebrate ourselves in that way? So, for example, there are the Grammys and there are the BET Music Awards. So does that then mean that we should no longer have the BET Music Awards in order for us to then dismantle and restructure what's happening with the Grammys?
I don't think we are at that point.
Okay.
We're not at that point
Yes.
in which we can dismantle anything.
Yes.
I think it's about now starting to have the conversations about can a white person win a BET award?
Yes.
If that is so, we have everything in place structurally in voting, etc. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that the Grammys have their own little internal problems about selecting,
Yes.
you know, album of the year and all
Yes.
kinds of things, and Jay-Z getting up there and talking.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
poor Beyonce was like, I'll deal with you when I get home. But there are certain things that we are not aware of as John Public, right? Or Jane Public. We are just looking on at the
Yes.
awards. With that being said, these insiders that know of need to use their platforms to bring the equity to it. And so at this point, you know, 2025, we don't have things in place to make drastic changes, but incremental changes. Like somebody needs to have a real robust conversation about Beyonce not
Getting
being
album of the year.
able to be a part of that community, right?
Yes.
It's country music belongs to white people. Where did that come from? And maybe it served you in the past, but it is not true. Music belongs to no one.
It's universal.
It is the most universal thing. So if you know that in your being, and your system is set up, your award system is set up in such a way that it's only benefiting white people, then you have a responsibility for your organization and your community to start to figure out where and how we can make those changes. Now, can it happen within a day? I doubt it. But recruit somebody. Recruit somebody. There are lots of thought leaders that will be willing to help you, to show you the path in where you can now have an organization that gives equitable opportunity, right? I don't know who is getting Album of the Year for the Country Music Awards against Beyonce. I don't know who. But whoever that person is
Right.
now is saddled with the burden. Maybe the music was good,
Okay.
but they're now saddled with the burden that they didn't give it to Beyonce. The person doesn't get to win and enjoy, I am now record of the year, when you have somebody, just because they're Black, didn't even get an opportunity to come and work with me,
Yes.
you know, fight in this award. It's all fictitious, it's all made up, it's all fantasy.
Yes.
And so it is very it does a disservice to that year's winner when it is quite clear that this other artist did everything better.
Right.
You know, it doesn't feel good. You know, I don't want to be political, but I can imagine how it feels if you are on every single level superior and you still lost the election. You're a lawyer. You have been an advocate. You are doing all of this work.
Yes.
And for some reason, it wasn't good enough. And so now you didn't win.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's have that conversation about how is that even possible? How would we allow that to happen when there is somebody superior in
Every way.
in every way of being, and we decided not to? Let's have that conversation rather than saying to our wonderful vice president, you are Black excellence. No, you are excellence, darling. You are excellence through and through. And so that's really where, for me, it's just the starting of the conversation to dismantle and make it equal, make it equal opportunity when we are giving out just the concepts.
And that's why DEI work is needed. It's a necessity. It is. It is. Because if all were equal, we wouldn't have these conversations.
We don't even
Period.
have to have these conversations if it was equal.
No.
And with that, our
Boy,
time
oh
is
boy.
another hard one under our belt.
Oh, boy.
Let's continue to celebrate excellence with everybody. If you do choose to celebrate Black excellence, go right ahead. If you need help, you know where to come, DI people. Again, our time has come to an end.
It has. It has. It was a pleasure. Pleasure,
As
Quincy.
always. Thank you again for joining us here in our sometimes very difficult conversations. Humanity Dialogues, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Be insanely great. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
We have come to the end of today's episode of Humanities Dialogue, presented by DEIpeople.com. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Until next time, from your hosts, Quincy and Daniella Fairbairn. Now, continue the dialogue on at DEIpeople.com and at DEIPeopleOfficial on Instagram. See you soon, beloveds.